Noah's going to the Kent Business School.
Must be happy. Must be.
Mine's on.
Hello.
Okay.
Test 1, test 2. Come on.
Great. Good for him.
I will call the council meeting of February 12th, 2025 to order. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please call a roll?
Bilski. Allner.
Here.
Vincent. Perry.
Here.
Madden. Foster. Silver.
Here. Motion to award the bid for the asphalt road repair program for 2025 to Roniak Paving and the amount not to exceed $799,545.
So moved.
Thank you, Stacy. Is there a second?
Second.
Bob? Ryan?
Ryan is here for the
Good timing.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah, this is our, obviously, the 2025 asphalt program. We brought all this out for Brainerd Road, basically north of Emory, all the way to the North Corp line. We identified this project back in October. The estimate from the engineer was $850,000. Obviously, we had 6 bids, with Roniak being considerably under. Got very favorable asphalt prices to take a look at for this year. Roniak did our program last year, very well. No real issues with them. Strongly recommend them for award.
All right. Any questions or comments?
I
Go ahead, no.
was going to ask him, how do you grade them on their work? Like, do you come back and see which roads have been redone, or what's the standard? I'm just curious.
Basically, work performance, how projects hold up, any issues. Most communities will reach out to other communities if they're unfamiliar with a contractor. Obviously, we've had a really good work history with them, projects over the years. So, you know, if I didn't know who they were, I would be reaching out to a lot of other communities and stuff like that. But for the most part, because we know this contractor, worked with this contractor for multiple years, it's an easy award recommendation.
Know what that standard is.
Do we anticipate road closures, and when would that be?
This program will be done under traffic. In other words, there won't be any closure, any detour, because it's a straight up resurfacing. But there will be advanced notification for electronic signs coming out announcing the project well ahead of when construction actually starts.
All right, Anna, will you please call roll?
Allner. Vincent.
Yes.
Perry. Madden. Foster. Silver.
Yes. Motion to approve the expenditure to Linda Mullett Commercial and Residential Cleaning LLC for total amount not to exceed $16,200 for cleaning services for the administration, police, building, and service departments for 2025.
Also move.
Thank you, Kim.
Second.
Ryan will second that. Thank you. Chief, you handle that?
I can speak to this. This is a cleaning company that we've been happy with overall, certainly in the police department. They indicated that we've asked for a few add-ons here and there along the way, which we've agreed that they are add-ons, and they were going to, as just a matter of, it's been over a year, reevaluate their contract. And I believe this is a net $1,200 a year increase from where we were, and that's why it required council's approval.
I see, I don't ever remember voting on this, but that would explain it. Okay. We've used this company in the past?
Yeah, and we've gone through a number, Anna can attest. It's not always an easy thing to find the right fit, especially in our areas. certainly at the police department. And we have a high level of confidence in this company, and we appreciate the work they've been doing.
All right. Questions or comments? Anna, please call roll.
Bilski. Yes. Allner. Vincent.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Madden.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Silver.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of a 2025 HV 507 dump truck chassis from Rush Truck Centers for a total amount not to exceed $116,083.61, which is part of ODOT contract 23-24?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Lisa. Is there a second?
Second.
You know why? You're hearing it sounds like.
You got the second. Bob.
Yeah, this is a planned replacement for one of our large dump trucks. This will be replacing a 2005 unit. The chassis for 116,083.61. That's under the ODOT contract. This has been something that has been planned in our 5-year infrastructure or our capital equipment. My mistake. And this will be over a 2-year expenditure. The last chassis and outfit of a truck took us 2 years. The feedback we're going to have right now is it'll be 9 months for the chassis, and then we'll go ahead and send it to the build. Council has to realize that this is just the chassis only, and this is a 2025 purchase. We will need to outfit the truck in 2026, which has been identified in our 5-year capital equipment plan, and our treasurer is very aware of that. So we're sort of obligating, but it's not necessarily, it's earmarked for the budget, but obviously the 26 budget has not been approved yet. So looking for approval to purchase a chassis, and then we will send it off to build later in the year to be completed in 2026.
Wait, just to confirm, you said some of this is covered through ODOT or through a grant, or?
This is all ODOT co-op purchasing. This is under the state contract.
Got it. Thank you.
But the other half.
The outfit is in the range of $100,000 to $165,000. So when complete, you're looking at almost close to $280,000. This is a swap loader truck. It's not a straight truck. So it allows us to change out the beds that go on it. It's one of the units that we use for our container service for our residents. We use it as a chip truck. We got a flatbed. We haul our brine with it, which we use in wintertime to help with our snow removal.
That's great.
So it's a multi-use vehicle.
Thanks.
Any additional questions? Anna, please call roll.
Bilski.
Yes.
Allner.
Yes.
Vincent.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Madden.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Silver.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report for December 2024?
Moved.
Thank you, Stacy. I will second that. Dana.
Good evening. You have the cash account summary for the year end, which shows $16,748,000 in all of our bank accounts. You have a summary for the year and the month for all funds. December revenues from all funds is $1,370,000, and our year-to-date, our December expenditures was $1,932,000 for all of our funds, and you have the breakdown of all of those. You have the revenue and expenditure report, which is the line item details for each of the funds. You get all funds quarterly and at year end, and the general fund's revenue was 104% of budget, and the expenditures was 97% of budget, which makes sense. At year end, you want your revenue to exceed your budget, you want your expenditures to be less than you had budgeted. All funds, the revenue was about 103%, and all funds, our expenditures were at almost 98%. So we're in line with, and this encompasses everything that we did in December when we did the final appropriations.
All right, any questions or comments? Please call roll on the treasurer's report.
Bilski. Alner. Vincent.
Yes.
Perry. Madden.
Yes.
Foster. Silver.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the tax administrator's report for December of 2024?
Make a motion.
Lisa, is there a second?
Yes. That's fine.
Dana.
You have the tax administrator report. So in December, our gross collections from all sources was for income tax was about $405,000, which is about $56,000 less than December of 2023, and our year-to-date is about $425,000 less than 2023. That was expected. We discussed that at previous meetings as well. You have a monthly gross income report that shows the last 4 years' monthly receipts that we had received, so you can see the trending. And as we had discussed throughout the year in 2024, when you look at the monthly cumulative report, you can see we were started tracking to 2022 as a result of changes in some of the collections for work from home and the allocations of net profits.
Questions or comments? Anna, please call a roll.
Bilski.
Yes.
Alner.
Yes.
Vincent.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Madden. Foster. Silver.
Yes. Did you also want to go over what we discussed during the finance meeting?
Thank you. At last week's meeting, there was a discussion about a contract that with the flock camera system that was caught through the finance department when we realized that it had not gone to council for approval for that multi-year agreement. Originally in 2021, council approved a 2-year agreement, and that was approved by council and paid as we went through the process. In 2023, there was no invoicing and there was no contract because there was concerns with some of the services, and we didn't have to pay for anything for that period of time. In the end of 2023, the former chief and the former mayor had signed an agreement for the services for a 5-year contract for the years 2024 and 2028. I wasn't there. I don't know what the conversations were at that point, but at some point it was not sent to council for council's approval of that agreement. In 2024, the first year of the agreement, the vendor also gave us a discount, which resulted in, instead of us paying the $22,500, we paid roughly $13,000. So my office, not knowing that there was a contract in existence, saw a $13,000 expenditure that then goes to the mayor's, for the mayor's authority, and Mayor Klein approved that purchase and it was paid. It wasn't until this year when we received an invoice for the $22,500 that we inquired, well, this needs council's approval, and discovered that there was an agreement that was signed at the end of 2023. That's where this whole thing kind of came to a head and was discovered. In looking at all of this, the procedures that the finance office handles caught the error, and but in looking at it, we realized that the contract management side of things had a weakness. We had staff leave, new staff come in. There was lack of a communication in terms of what was going on. So we're in the process now of updating the procedures and including when any contract is sent to the law director for his review, that it is also sent to the executive assistant to the mayor's office. That person is in charge of maintaining all contracts for the village, so that they would see that and then be able to determine whether the contract required the mayor's authority or whether it required going to the council for their authority and approval prior to any contracts being formally signed and processed. That even happens before it even goes through the payment process. The executive assistant to mayor always sends us copies of contracts and always sends us, either we get an email of the mayor's approval if it's under the $15,000, or we get a copy of the minutes showing that council has approved it. That will continue. So we're just kind of fine-tuning that by sending out annually a notice of the procedures and a flow chart showing them what they have to do, as well as anytime there's a department head or a mayoral change, they would then also receive those procedures to make sure they're aware of the steps that need to be taken. So we wanted to tighten up that contract management side of things to make sure this didn't happen again.
Thank you very much.
There's also sort of another layer that's been added into this that actually did take place this year, which has to do with the flow of approvals for requests for payment on various items that come through the departments, and that they have they go through a hierarchical process that will go from the department head to the office of the treasurer for approval to make sure that they are properly budgeted and in the budget and the amounts consistent with it, and then they will go back. They will then come to me for signature for approval. So they won't come as they have historically. They've come from the department heads to the mayor's office for approval and then to finance. They will now go from department head, regardless of who in the department has instigated the expenditure, and then they will go to finance for verification, and they will then come to me for approval, and then they can go to the payment department for authorization.
All right, thank you.
Bring it up again, we'll vote on it.
All right.
Needs a cough drop.
Moving on, discussion of the bills to be paid in the month of February.
I have a little question on the second page under additional previous month's expenses. PNC credit cards annual bank fee in the brown section. I've never seen it before, have I? Maybe I have.
Would you like me to respond?
Sure. Yeah.
Annually, we pay the bank fees. So the bank fees roll over, and they're offset by interest that is earned in the PNC account, and then once a year we get the bill. Last year it was $6,065. This year I had indicated was going to be slightly higher because of us doing things differently in terms of how we were investing our accounts, and then we were sending more money over to larger investments outside of PNC. So we weren't maintaining those balances, and so there was, and their fees have increased every year. So last year was $6,065.
Thank you.
Questions regarding bills to be paid? All right, moving on. Are there any audience comments relating to agenda items only? Sign-in sheet on by the piano. If you could.
You can do it after you.
You can do it after you speak. Yeah. Just please introduce yourself and say your address, and if you could keep it to 2 minutes.
I'll try my best. Sorry. Will Goldman, 125 Murcott Circle. So my background is I'm a resident. I'm a father. I'm a physician. And I specialize specifically in pediatrics and addiction medicine. So I know it's come up to discuss putting a dispensary in Orange. One of the things I kind of kept looking around the room and seeing was, I think all of us grew up to be older than 18 before 1992. And the reason why I think about that is before 1992, THC in marijuana was only, at the max, was 4.5%. With the legalization movement and the movement towards having these dispensaries, what we're seeing is concentrations in our THC for specifically plant material with selective breeding is somewhere between about 30 to 40% THC from the 4.5 that we all grew up and understood that was kind of what generated this kind of movement. If you're talking about concentrates, which are popular in edibles, we're talking legally they're supposed to only sell up to 75%, but we also know that there are things that could be closer to 90% THC concentrations. The reason why I have this conversation is we talk about this, and there's lots of things I could talk about a lot longer than 2 minutes, is my concern is, one, we could talk about youth and developing brains, and when we talk about developing brains, that's up until about age 26, not 18. It doesn't stop there. And so the danger that this is actively posing, we're now looking at, are the concentrations safe? So it's not like a decided issue. So that's one part. Two, if you'd like to talk about revenue and the difference between recreational versus medical. There's different rules around the taxation, and the taxations that places like Colorado have seen have not been great. It's against what people tell you. It isn't. If you're also comparing, we use the comparison data of what Michigan produced revenue-wise. I know I still work with adult clients, and they still go to Michigan because it's cheaper than whatever Ohio's going to offer for recreational use. Like I said, I usually talk for half an hour on this topic.
You got a couple seconds left.
I appreciate it. I'd also, there's a good book I recommend before you make any decision called Tell Your Children Marijuana, Mental Health, and Violence, which really kind of debunks a lot of the preconceived notions, even when we talk about a public decision to do this. I know a lot of people voted that they do want this, but understand I can write something very clearly that makes it sound that compassion is what we were trying to do, and understanding the long-term ramifications of the decisions we make as a community. So, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Goldman, can you just repeat the name of that book a little bit slower? Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's by, the writer's name is Alex Berenson. It's called Tell Your Children Marijuana, Mental Health, and Violence. And it kind of goes through a little bit of how we got here and some of the concerns that we've seen now that we're here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If the sign-in sheet's behind you. Any other audience comments? You can keep your comments at 2 minutes.
Okay. Hi, Minky Beechler. I live at 4420 Brainerd Road. I guess mine would be really more of a question on like, why does anyone think that we need this? I don't think it is an environment that we want to encourage in Orange Village. Just because a law has passed doesn't mean we should do something. It's kind of the old adage, you know, if your friend jumped off a bridge, are you going to jump in after them? But there is one fairly close to us now. It concerns me because I noticed that that place has constant security, you know, so that is concerning about who's shopping there. Why do they need 24-hour security? Why do we need that type of environment in Orange Village? We've taken great care of Orange Village. We've created sidewalks to be a sidewalk community, to be a neighborhood, to encourage families and children and things like that. And this definitely goes against any of that. And again, my big question would just be is, why on earth is this even a question? It is not something that is needed in Orange Village. It is not going to bring in excessive revenue that we don't need. And it's just really not a necessary thing. And I think it's kind of absurd that we have to waste our time with the village council talking about this and having to make this ordinance. But I definitely say it should not be allowed, and I hope that you vote accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments related to agenda items? Okay, moving on, old business, ordinance 2025-2, an ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 107, contracts of the codified ordinances of Orange Village and declaring an emergency. This is on for second reading. Any other additional questions or comments since last week? So this would, just a reminder, this would raise the mayor's discretionary spending limit from $15,000 to $25,000. Steve Byron sent something out earlier this week or last week. The $15,000 spending limit has been in place for the mayor since the year 2000. And if you factor in inflation, 25 years of inflation, from 15,000 in 2000 numbers is more than 25,000 in 2025 numbers. So this really is not even keeping up with inflation, but I think it'll serve our purposes here. So just wanted to put that out there. Any questions or comments on this? All right. Moving on, ordinance 2025-5, an ordinance adopting the tree canopy and 20-year canopy table as Exhibit A to Chapter 1375 of the Orange Village Codified Ordinances and declaring an emergency. This is on for second reading. Any comments? All right. New business, ordinance 2025-6, an ordinance enacting new Chapter 743, marijuana of Title I Business Regulation. Part 7, Business Regulation and Taxation Code of the Codified Ordinances of the Village of Orange and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading. This is the marijuana ordinance that we have to
Do you have something to say? Yeah, thank you. At our last meeting, 2 council members made much of the fact that the voters of Orange Village voted to legalize recreational marijuana usage in our state. We are now discussing whether to prohibit the sale, not the use, of marijuana in our village. The issues should not be conflated. They are not the same. As an aside, I have heard from some people who voted for that, later said that they didn't understand what they were voting for. It was a bit confusing to some people. Perhaps if marijuana were not readily available in Woodmere, only perhaps, one could argue that not permitting a dispensary in Orange somehow might trample the rights of our Orange Village citizens. But there is a dispensary readily available in Woodmere, so those who wish to partake can easily do so. Their rights are not impeded in any way. However, those of our citizens and residents who do not want a dispensary in Orange, or at all, should not be totally disregarded. What about their rights? Or I should say, what about our rights, since I'm one of those people? What about the message that this sends to our kids? We were elected to make decisions that are in the best interests of our residents, including our kids who are not able to vote. One citizen told me that she can smell the dispensary in Woodmere and does not want that smell close to her home. I understand that Pepper Pike voted to prohibit them, and one of the reasons that Pepper Pike did vote to prohibit dispensaries was because of the proximity to Orange School's campus. Well, Orange Village also has a school. Temple Emmanuel has children who attend school there daily in the preschool and Sundays and twice a week for Hebrew school for older children. Dr. Goldman has done an excellent job of talking about the concentrations of THC and how it is significantly stronger than we were growing up. He's thankfully given us a book to review, which I hope that we will all take the opportunity during the next few weeks to look at and read. I think something that he did not have time to talk about is the fact that there's an uptick in overdoses on young children who are getting a hold of these. I maybe didn't use the right terminology, but you said it much more eloquently. Thank you. And I think another of our residents just spoke that this is not an environment we want to encourage in Orange Village. We've taken great care of our village and our neighborhood, and we encourage our families and children. I find it curious that in our village, we will not permit a McDonald's or Burger King on the new Pinecrest South development, but we might welcome a dispensary in our village. As one resident told me, lots of things are legal, but we don't have or want them in a small village, which is family-oriented, especially when something similar is available nearby. Gentlemen's clubs are legal in Ohio, but we don't want one here in Orange Village. And as stated in last week's meeting, I do intend to vote in favor of the prohibition, and there is nothing that will change my mind on that.
That was good.
Any other comments?
Yes, I do too, as well. And I want to be clear when I say this once again, because I'm going to share with you some information that I am not supportive of the dispensaries personally, but I wanted to get some more information and some facts so that we at least understand the situation and what is available to us and what is not available to us. I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to speak to one of the attorneys with the Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Cannabis Control earlier this week. This department does not promote nor discourage dispensaries. Their role is to license and regulate medical and non-medical cannabis cultivators, processors, testing laboratories, and dispensaries with a focus on the restrictions and laws that come into play with regard to the placement and regulation of these dispensaries. They deal in facts, and they remain neutral in detailing their role. Attorney Andrew McCoskey helped me to understand the how, the where, and the when dispensaries operate in Ohio. I know some questions came up last week that I want to address. As of this moment, as I understand it, Ohio has restricted the total number of dispensaries to slightly more than 300 across the state. This is in comparison to about 750 dispensaries in Michigan and thousands, for example, in Washington state. All of those in Ohio have already been assigned to regions with specific rules as to proximity to other dispensaries and facilities where they are prohibited, such as schools, churches, etc. Only about 20 dispensaries are still open to selecting sites within their designated regions, but none of those 20 will be in Cuyahoga County, as the number in our county was capped already for a 2-year period. I believe there's about 16 months left on that. I am told that the only way a dispensary could request and obtain a space in Cuyahoga County is if they were already established in Cuyahoga County and looking to move to another area within that county. So, after hearing all of this and giving it a lot of thought, I believe that when and if we put a ban in place, and Steve can probably confirm this, we could always make a decision down the line to remove that ban if we felt, for some reason, down the line that it would be advantageous for some reason or based on our residents' preferences to have a dispensary in our town. As I see it, it could be more beneficial to us to have that ban in place than that could be removed than it would be to add a ban once a dispensary has begun the process of operating and opening locally. As I have said, and please let me be clear, I am personally against marijuana use and would prefer a dispensary not to be in my backyard. But regardless of how you feel about the issue itself, I don't want to discount the high percentage of voters in our area who voted to support the marijuana legislation. That said, I thank the residents that came tonight, and I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you, and I would encourage all of our residents who have strong opinions on either side or just want to learn more to reach out to us on council and let us know how you feel. Let us know, but that based on what Mrs. Allner said, that maybe you didn't understand what the legislation that you were voting for was. Let us know that you might have approved the recreational legalization of marijuana, but you didn't want the dispensary. Talk to us. Let us know how you feel. I would also encourage those on council and anyone who wants to be better informed to reach out to the Commerce Department's DCC office. I would be happy to share the contact information with anyone who would like it. And I want to thank Mr. McCoskey again for taking a great amount of time to talk to me about this. I'll provide that information to Anna too if anyone wants to reach out. I will be voting for the prohibition unless something dramatic changes in the next couple weeks to convince me otherwise. But I would like to hear from our residents on both sides. Thank you.
Tim, you and I spoke last week, and I believe you said that part of the law is no dispensary can be within 1 mile of another one. Is that
Correct. So there was one in Woodmere, assuming that stayed there. There's a portion of our village that would not allow, wouldn't allow it anyway, but there is a portion that it would be a possibility.
okay?
In Solon?
There's one going in Solon.
Yeah, I don't know where in Solon.
It's been approved for Aurora Road, I believe.
That would still leave open that portion of Orangeville.
Orange Village, close to Miles Road. Yeah.
I also think this is important. Our kids are listening to us. They always say they're not, but they are. And I think it's important that we send a message about what is acceptable or not.
I understand how we feel, a lot of us feel about marijuana use. But there is such one of the reasons this passed is about harm reduction, that we are taking the marijuana business out of the hands of the black market, that we are providing a safer alternative to buying it on the black market, that this is, you buy it and it has a whole breakdown of what's in it. So yes, it's a higher percentage, but people know it is, not just have a random guess. So there's a certain harm reduction to this that I think is part of this issue. And I feel that the populace did understand, and for the most part, voted for this at a pretty high rate. So it feels slightly hypocritical to say, yes, we can have this, but not in my backyard.
I just add on to that, I agree completely. And I guess I feel like I always have to start with, I am not a cannabis consumer. I don't really like it, but I think that we have to respect that the people came out and voted very strongly to allow cannabis sales. And it seems heavy-handed to me and big brother-ish to me for us to put this limitation on. Now, if Woodmere and Solon both have dispensaries, that pretty much says we're not going to have one. But I don't like this wagon that people are jumping on to try to restrict the sales of marijuana for so many people who really want to see it. Dr. Goldman, I agree. I don't think children and young adults should be consuming marijuana, but it's the same argument with alcohol and other drugs. They get this either way, and I think it's our responsibility to listen to what our residents want. put our personal feelings ahead of what is already a law. I will vote no.
Comments?
Oh,
Everything.
Sure.
The information that Steve sent out was very informational. There is a incentive for communities to have dispensaries. So it also, Chief Roberts' report stated that he did some research and there was no additional crime compared to other businesses, correct? Compared to other businesses with the dispensaries. So that also plays into my decision, because if it's attracting, you know, hoodlums.
To clarify, we looked at a sampling of call volume at these dispensaries, 8 of the 13 that are in the county, and sure, they had instances where they called the police, but it didn't, it wasn't alarming. It was false alarms, car crashes in the parking lot, you know, minor MVAs that happen in many parking lots. I didn't see anything that jumped out, didn't bring violent crime. There weren't robberies, things like that. That's what that data found.
And I'm sorry if I interrupted.
I had a question for you. So, the point that people have made about children and welfare, I'm all about. And sir, I understand completely what you're talking about.
Speaking on the microphone. Sorry.
I understand what people talk about in child welfare. Is there a report that answers what happens to the parents when obviously these younger children are getting a hold of? Are they held accountable like gun laws or anything like that?
Certainly there's...
Something I'm just asking in general context.
Certainly the duty to protect the children from all things harmful applies in this instance as well. I don't have any specific reports to cite.
Jeff, I would encourage you, if you want to get the name of the person I spoke to, because he spoke very definitively about the rules and the regulations that they institute, and there are lots of safeguards. So we wouldn't be able, like I said, there won't be a dispensary here, ban or not, because right now we're capped for at least 16 months. But could the Woodmere one choose to move? I don't know why they would do that, but I suppose they could, or the Solon one or someplace. But right now it's not going to happen anyway. I encourage everybody, though, really to reach out to look at what those safeguards are, because and the one thing I'm struggling with too is with the amount of kids that are poisoned. The products that they're not getting them from these places, these dispensaries. They're getting them from a lot of these offshoots that are existing elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So I encourage you to talk to him, at least understand the safeguards that are in place for these dispensaries. Yeah, thank you.
Comes in for OD, you know, what's the backup or what's the follow-up to that?
I mean, generally speaking, in a hospital, I would assume that Child Protective Services would be contacted if a minor is brought in on an 5-year-old is brought in on an OD. The doctors or nurses are going to contact Child Protective Services.
Yeah, and we're mandatory reporters in that area as well, and we would seek criminal statutes, prosecutions, the whole thing as we would with any other instance.
I'm grateful that we have 2 more readings on this, and I just can't more strongly encourage people to talk to us and let us know where you are, where you're thinking. Come to these meetings. It's a big discussion. It's important.
Yep.
That I think are worth bringing into the discussion. One of which has to do with what is the economic model of having these dispensaries in our communities. There are so many other ways that we can find opportunities for retail uses of the small retail space that we have available in our community, to hold it aside or allow it to be used for this type of sale is not something we need to pursue. I'm happy to go out and find better uses. The other thing is, several years ago, Lisa may remember this, I introduced an anti-vaping piece of legislation to council to restrict the consumption of vaping products for minors in Orange Village. It was not met with a great deal of support or enthusiasm at the time. I don't see this as being any different, but I think it is a whole different potential outcome to it. And I think the thinking behind introducing that then is similar to the idea of preventing marijuana sales now.
And like Stacy said, this is on for the first reading tonight. It'll be presented at the next two meetings in March, the first two meetings in March. And again, we encourage residents to come and speak out, be heard one way or another on this. Moving on, audience comments. Are there any audience comments related to matters which advance the good of the village?
Hi, I'm Jason Kiss, 28399 Pike Drive, right around the corner. So I am here to talk about our awesome Art and Culture Committee. So I am one of the two co-chairs. My other cohort, Cindy, is with me as well. And I kind of wanted to give a little update as to what we're doing and kind of introduce myself to the council. I'm a new resident as of about 2 years ago. So just kind of getting used to everything and meeting everyone and enjoying the community. So we have a large breadth of members so far that have come to the meetings that have experience in music, art, performance, and a whole bunch of other great skills that they have, and we've had some great discussions so far. One of our first order of business that we're going to tackle in the first quarter here is getting our social media presence out there so we can talk to the community members and things like that. We do have a Blue Sky account built. We're looking at adding a Facebook page and a few other social media platforms as well, so be on the lookout for those. I'm sure there'll be links posted somewhere up here coming soon that you'll be able to attach to and get updates as to what's going on. For quarter two, we're looking at possibly a collab with Stagecrafters, the school theater program, and doing something with Sidewalk Chalk and their upcoming Mary Poppins performance. So this is just an idea, mind you. This isn't necessarily in stone yet, but something kind of fun with our kids, that we could have a Sidewalk Chalk competition. And then also possibly a floral arrangement building event where people can come and build floral arrangements with extra flowers we might have for Mother's Day and getting those different bouquets built. For quarter three, we're looking at utilizing our wonderful amphitheater, possibly for an event during the Party at the Park, or other things coming up in the future in the summer as well. Maybe performances by some of our kids and skids from the high school and et cetera, to see what we can get in there. And then for quarter four, one of the best ideas we had for this, and my personal favorite, is a Halloween house decorating contest. We often see Christmas decorating contests, but people that have driven around, we have some awesome Halloween decorations going up as well. And we thought it'd be a great fundraiser too, that people could contribute a few dollars to get themselves entered into the contest, and maybe people can go around and look at all the wonderful houses and vote to see who has the best house, best Halloween house. A chili cook-off is another idea we've been throwing around, another good fundraiser we could do. I'm sure we have a lot of chili chefs in the village that could make some wonderful chili, and I can squeeze that into art and culture somehow, maybe some culture there. And then lastly, a holiday lighting ceremony. I'm sure our mayor would love to hit a big button and turn on all the wonderful lights we have. So those are just some of our ideas. I want to encourage anyone that's out in the audience today that's interested, or anyone that knows anyone that would want to come. Our meetings are the first Thursday of every month. So we look forward to seeing people come, and hopefully we'll continue to grow our membership. And we have a ton of great artists and people with great experience here in the village, and I'd love to see them come out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to both Jason and Cindy for taking the role of co-chairs. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
I just would add to that, if you read this week's e-news that just went out today, there's an article about one of our local resident artists, Louis Burrows. I suggest you check it out. I talked to him. His wife had a birthday party today that I attended, and suggested that they connect with you guys for the Arts and Culture Committee. He's a world-recognized artist and lives right here in Orange Village.
Any other audience comments? All right. Mayor Klein, you're up. I know you got a lot for us tonight.
Get your blankets and your pillows. It's time for the annual Mayor's State of the Village report, and I hope it won't be too much of a snooze fest. My first year in office has been an interesting one filled with opportunities and challenges. I entered the office last January and began by focusing on 2 campaign promises: to produce a community-wide survey and to increase resident engagement. My background and experience as an architect have served me well and the village well in pursuing those opportunities and challenges. I reached out to the community to enlist interest in supporting and pursuing 7 areas of engagement. I'll talk about those in a minute. We solicited proposals from professionals to assist in producing a community-wide survey. We purchased Eclipse glasses and distributed them. I won't go into that program. And we held a community-wide concert featuring the Beatles cover band Rubber Soul. And they performed at the Orange Amphitheater, which was an overwhelming success, and we hope to continue to expand on that. The annual party in the park featured a drone light show in lieu of the usual fireworks display that proved to be an incredibly wonderful experience. To quote my 10-year-old granddaughter, "Grandpa, this beats fireworks 10 times." We had 2 referendums this year for new development projects. The first one was Omni Development's proposal, which overwhelmingly passed in May, resulting in establishing the Orange Place South Development District. For those, it is beginning under construction now, and their objective is to move in the first residents in December of this year. In November, a proposal for a 16-home redevelopment of the New Song Church property was defeated at the polls. Other developments now starting in the village include Lakes of Orange Phase 8, which comprises of 23 duplex and triplex units, and the residents of Walnut Hills, which is the Pinecrest residential project. It will be beginning its journey through the Planning and Architectural Review Board process next month. We have completed the legislation with Beechwood to move the boundary on Orange Place between Beechwood and Orange. We're awaiting the county ratification so that it can be completed and go forward. We established the Orange Village Land Bank to acquire foreclosed upon properties in the village for its benefit. We're looking to see what will come of that. With the leadership of one of our residents, we introduced a farmers and artisans market in the village this year, which turned out to be an absolute smashing success. We will be meeting on Monday to begin plans for this year. The committees that I mentioned earlier that were established include the Orange Cares, Sustainability and Resilience, Economic Development, Parks and Recreation, Arts and Culture, Veterans, and our Centennial, are now all underway with pursuing vigorous agendas to advance the village. We heard from our Arts and Culture Committee moments ago. The other committees have been making reports, and we'll be putting those up on the e-newsletter. You may know this, but maybe not. Money Magazine listed Orange Village as the 19th of the top 30 suburbs to live in Ohio. We are very proud of that accommodation. Although this year also had its challenges as well, which included the retirement of our fire and police chief in May and August, respectively, in elevating their successors, assistants, and deputy chiefs, captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and brought new leadership throughout and discussed strategic plans for each, and I'll talk about that when I get to departmental news and accomplishments later. There was another challenge that shook the community this year. The situation involved the spray painting of 2 homes with racial epithets. However, through the great work of our police department and a strategic approach produced in cooperation with my office, Orange PD, neighboring police departments, we were able to resolve this serious issue within a very short period, apprehending the perpetrator and bringing him to justice to the relief of the families and neighborhoods that were affected. Going forward, there are several initiatives I'm looking to pursue where community organizations could be important partners to achieve the desired outcome. I've met with some of them already. Number one is developing a Veterans Memorial Plaza that would take place outside the council chamber here. The restoration, expansion, enhancement of the existing amphitheater structure and space to make it a more vibrant and usable facility for community activities such as concerts, performances, and festivals. We've begun working with the Fellowship City Church in Orange Village to re-energize the former Bethlehem Baptist School and produce a potential community center that would serve Orange Village, Orange Community Rec, and the Senior Center. There may be many challenges to cross over that project, but I'm already working with a number of resources to see if we can make that happen. Other projects on the horizon we are pursuing include redevelopment of the Bahama Breeze, redevelopment of the Dead Lobster site, the Miles Brainerd Center, to see what we can encourage to happen there, remodel of the Village Hall and Fire Department facilities, Centennial Celebration development, working with partner communities to develop a first call program. We've talked about this a little bit before, but it brings mental health workers into the fold, working with our police and fire when they receive a call from the dispatch. Chagrin Highlands South Life Sciences and Technology Park, and working with the Western Reserve Land Conservancy to create conservancy land and to link Orange Parks with the Metro Parks system through a grant we are pursuing with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. That grant was filed last Friday. Many of these projects and programs have a place for all of our residents to participate. I hope you will take the opportunity to consider where you can bring value and expertise and choose to participate. Our community moves forward, and our success is tied to the accomplishments of all of our exceptional department leaders who are seated to my right. That in mind, I want to summarize their achievements and vision. The full report of those departments will be available on the Orange Village website. However, I'd like to highlight significant actions of the various departments. And, to begin with, our finance department, led by Dana Cavender and Dan Ding Wu, and I want to thank them for their conscientious work in maintaining our finances and keeping us on fiscally solid ground. This year, the department goal was to train Dan Ding Wu on treasurer's duties as the department advances in its work of management of tax collection, payroll, procurement, and payments for village services. Anna Girardi has served as a valuable contributor in managing payroll activities and maintaining smooth process of paying our employees. Dana led a very efficient and comprehensive budgeting process for our 2025 budget, and we look forward to working that through the rest of this year. The Treasurer's Office completed the year with a balanced budget, which we are always proud that we can say we do. We're looking to add a finance administrative assistant to enable the department to build for the future and develop a succession plan. We adopted and updated our VIP software, which contributed to balancing the budget. And one of our 2025 goals is to review and update the village's personnel manual. Our building department we are fortunate to have a knowledgeable and efficient building department that I believe is second to none in processing permits, inspections of projects, and ensuring public safety in the building construction process. The team of Bob McLaughlin, CBO, Chief Building Official, Brandon Hughes, Assistant CBO, and Administrator Danette Gambarski have contributed to the building department's reviewed, permitted, inspected, and approved construction of larger commercial projects, including completion of the RH program, Akron Children's Hospital renovation, full renovation of the Hampton Inn and all interior and exterior parts of the building, and 3 substantial projects at the UH Minoff Center. Redevelopment of the Miles gas station, the Shell station at the corner of Miles and Brainerd, renovation at the Courtyard by Marriott, and multiple Pinecrest renovations and tenant build-outs. They reviewed, permitted, inspected, and approved construction of most of the residents at Lake Balaton and on Lake Balaton, and Phase 7 Lakes of Orange, as well as 4 new infill dwellings on existing lots. The department continued to assist the implementation of the Omni rezoning and development of the Weintraub property and related adjacent parcels, at 271 in Harvard, including the final development plan for what is now being called the Canyons residential neighborhood. They're not digging a canyon, by the way. Their 2025 goals include Inspector Brandon Hughes completing his chief building official certification and to be appointed fully assistant building commissioner of Orange Village. He will complete his Ohio plumbing inspector certification and take the required position as certified backup plumbing inspector for Orange Village. He will also complete another year of his 4-year training as a certified Ohio electric inspector. The building department will work with the village newly appointed village arborists, which we're in the process of hiring to coordinate enforcement of the new preservation code, tree preservation code that we've recently passed. Building Commissioner Robert McLaughlin is hoping to complete his final year as full-time building commissioner of Orange Village with certified building official Brandon Hughes taking over as Orange building official by the end of this year. The building department will prepare for a seamless transition. The 2024 stats for Orange Village Building Department are available in the full report that will be online. The Orange Village Fire Department, with Chief Larry Genova, Assistant Chief Bill Mandich, and its complement of officer corps and firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics, serves our village with skill and professionalism. I've had numerous residents share with me their stories of the service provided and how much they appreciate the actions and assistance of our department team. They have had a busy year addressing multiple calls and responses. What they've accomplished includes consolidating daily staffing to one station. They've moved from their satellite station over at Pinecrest. Everything is now here at Village Hall. They've implemented new daily assignments to make their scheduling work better, and they've converted space in our fire department to make room for a dorm, which we desperately need for those firefighters who are here overnight. For your vote. Hired additional personnel, resulting in a full department roster. We've implemented a new training program and learning management system that's electronic, that can be accessed by the department and used for a myriad of different training services. We migrated to a new report management system as a year-long project for tracking and reporting on departmental activities to improve our responses. They had a successful ISO evaluation, which is the International Organization for Standards that establishes the requisite standards for fire and EMS departments. A new fire engine was ordered, and it's expected to be delivered this year. Replaced and upgrade vital equipment, including heart monitors, gas meter, and portable radios. The 2025 goals include creating a training and professional development opportunity, evaluate and explore improvements to the new staffing model, work with the police department to improve response to large-scale events, expand Fire Prevention Bureau, maintain our community involvement PR events. The next one is that. Host a 5K run to fund a scholarship in the names of Dan Fritz and John Prohaska, and they're going to work with our Ryan Bilski on his Active Orange program as the vehicle for creating that event. Partner with Red Cross to develop smoke detector installation program. Apply for grants. We've hired a grant. I didn't mention that in my report, but we hired a grant writer to help us pursue grant opportunities in all those areas where we might be otherwise purchasing equipment to find sources of funding outside of Orange Village to help us, and then update the fire department's web pages. Orange Police Department. The Orange Police Department, under the new leadership of Chief Mike Roberts, has made tremendous progress in reinvigorating its culture to make it one of the leading departments in our region. When officers are asked, what do they like about Orange Village Police Department, their response to me has been, it's the quality of the people, the organization, support, and community appreciation. Their ability to address and resolve situations quickly, safely, and satisfactorily contribute to the safety and security of Orange Village residents. This year has been both energizing and challenging, where the department has addressed preparing and presenting a police department vision board with an emphasis on the importance of our people first, with special interest in the members of the Orange Village Patrol Division. Restructured the operational hierarchy flowchart and created and filled the position of Deputy Chief of Police and promoted a lieutenant, a sergeant, and hired a patrol officer. We've hired a detective, pursued appointment of transitional prosecutor, and promoted our clerk to dual role as a clerk administrative assistant. But wait, there's more. The goals for 2025 include the institution of an internal affairs unit so that when issues come up, they can be reviewed internally and then determine what kinds of actions might need to be pursued. They've assumed command of our IT department. This silo of activity that is undertaken in two areas, one through the CVD and the other through the police department, has been identified so that it all filters through the chief. So there is an authority at the head of that process. They've initiated an electronic inventory control program, improved efficiency in records management, video data redaction, and storage across all mediums. One of the things that we have just recently completed is a media request protocol for different media organizations when they approach the village and ask for a videotape of an action. They can get it quickly and efficiently through our police department. Purchased the first of its kind dedicated Detective Bureau vehicle equipped with all CSI equipment. We purchased a replacement cruiser for the Chief of Police, a full policy and procedure review. We're hoping to pursue individual employee career development meetings so that our officer corps and our patrol people all see the opportunity for verticality in the work that they do in contributing more in their positions. Create and institute quarterly professional development checkup as opposed to an annual review. Vehicle and fleet management. This is really important because here historically we've made the purchase of vehicles a lump job, a lump sum. We get them all at once, and that can be a very expensive undertaking. So the strategy has been to replace vehicles on a cycling basis. So every 2 years there's a new vehicle every year there's 2 new vehicles being installed. So at the end of 10 years we'll have the full complement. Training required and desired with the fire department. Negotiate and ratify. This is a interesting year. It'll be fun for me and the chief because this is a year we enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Patrolmen's Association. Neither chief nor I have done this before, so we're going to get trialed by fire and pursuing that collective bargaining agreement. Exploring new initiatives, officer wellness, perhaps reintroducing a K-9 unit, community engagement opportunities, execute portable radio replacement program, and for those of you sitting up here that might find this worth your time, is a council member's Orange Village Police Academy to learn what our police do and how they do it and to participate. Not last but least is our service department. I don't want to leave Bob Zugan off. Bob's service department continues to provide the community with great service in road maintenance, village projects, snow plowing, and a variety of special projects that enhance the quality of life in Orange. Their support for events such as the Orange Village Farmers and Artisans Market, the Party in the Park, the amphitheater concert, etc., contribute to the rich experience that our residents enjoy. While their list of accomplishments and goals is extensive, their full report is available on the website. Here are some of the highlights of their 2024 services and future goals. In 2024, they completed asphalt programs on Pike and White Drive, along with storm sewer improvements on Pike Drive, raising culverts on White Drive Island, and completion of crack repair program, with majority of repairs being done on Harvard Road. They also did paint striping on with the asphalt program. Crack sealing program for Emory, Harvard, Jackson, Orange Place, Lander, Orange Meadow, and Harvard. Awarded approvals of $11,316.52 through community cost share programs. Awarded $63,325 for the 2024 county maintenance reimbursement program. They've had tree removal and regrading for safety improvements. Some of you may have noticed this at Lander and Smithfield. If you come down Smithfield, you have sort of had a blind corner as you come off that corner, and they redid that corner so it is safe. They've had an in-house asphalt and street bulk patching of local streets. Their wood chipping, leaf collection, and subsequent delivery of leaf humus and wood chips to residents is an always well-received program. They received $6,000 in the Cuyahoga County Soil and Water District Recycle Grant, and they upgraded the police department's emergency power system. They installed a new, that you may have noticed as you go in and out of the door, are new security doors in the Village Hall, and they've installed 4 new water bottle fill stations from an Ohio EPA grant of $5,495. They've reconstructed the Village Hall flagpole island, as you may have noticed, with the assistance of the Tri-C Landscaping Program and Bellegarde Corp., who donated materials. We're hoping to tap into them for the development of our hopeful Veterans Plaza out front. They received a NOPEC grant of $8,873 to upgrade our VAV controls in the Village Hall so that the air and heating system can work more efficiently. I'm proud to say that all of our departments do an excellent job of pursuing grants and opportunities to get funding from other sources than the village to pay for the things that we need for our community, and will continue to do so. Their goals for 2025 include purchase of a new dump truck chassis, which was just approved at council tonight. It will be equipped with snow and ice removal equipment in 2026. Road projects, which were also approved tonight, include concrete repair program for Brainerd Road, resurfacing of which will come about with the Miles Road water main relocation that is hopefully to take place this year. The update, our NEOSERD, Northeast Ohio Sewer District Compliance Plan, which is required in 2025. It's due in March. Park improvements, which include bocce ball court, Veterans Memorial, amphitheater improvements, updated or new dog park as determined, additional parkway entry if property is secured on Emory Road. That's got some hair on that ball. Complete the MOU with Beechwood for the realignment of Orange Place. Apply for an EPA recycle grant to fund water bottle filling stations for the playground and the Mulcahy Pavilion. Continue succession training. Replace the garden storage shed for the community garden. They're going to build a new shed when we can. There is a program with ODOT that we have to resolve between ourselves, Warrensville Heights, and Solon on I-422 as it relates to snow plowing, and a maintenance agreement on the 422 extension. Advance recommendations for the 2024 Village Community Survey as directed by administration. Some of the things that came out of the survey that we think can be undertaken by service they're going to pursue. Research natural playground areas and opportunities. Investigate grant opportunities that advance the good of the village. We talked about that. And berm improvements on East and West Woodcrest. We have challenges there for drainage. And research two-way radio improvements for service vehicles. Research LED message board, which needs may need to be replaced. And wait a minute. And wait. that's everything from my office, what's been going on. I would like to add a couple things. Number one, paper shredding is Friday here at the Service Department. What is it, 12?
9 to 12.
12. And Valentine's Day is this Friday. Make sure that you take care of your peeps. And President's Day is Monday. Village Hall will be open. And trash will be picked up. As usual. Thank you.
That's it? That's all you got?
You want more?
I
could read you the entire report.
I missed part of the middle. Can you just do the whole thing again, just to be safe?
Do the 17th item.
All right, I do not have any comments. Moving on to comments by council members. Ryan Bilski.
I would like to thank you for your comments tonight on the marijuana subject. I appreciate that, and hopefully we see more folks come out. Would encourage everybody to, for, against, anything you want to share. We appreciate the feedback, and it's nice to hear from the community on the subject. And then I'll also just share. You summarized a lot of the achievements this year for these gentlemen to my right and Dana, and I think it's never lost on me how fortunate we are to have services we have and the folks that we have kind of supporting the village. So thank you guys very, very much, all of you.
I debated whether to bring this up. Last night, a Pepper Pike family suffered an unspeakable tragedy when one family member took the life of her son and herself. And while I want to respect the privacy of that family, who have my deepest sympathy and well wishes, I think it's important to note that the son attended Orange High School, and staff and some students, particularly seniors, did know him. And although I haven't heard that the school district is making grief counselors available, I'm assuming that they probably will. I just want to say, parents, please check with your kids and make sure that they're okay. They may need to talk with you or someone to help process this, as well as the staff members. It's just tragic. I want to remind all of our residents that Star 988 is available to all who are facing any mental health crisis. And many people are under a lot of stress. If you need help, please reach out. Sometimes a situation can seem overwhelming, but perhaps the school or the village or the county or private entities have resources which would be available to help. We are a village, and we are here to help one another. I look forward to continuing to work with our mayor on the First Call program, which I am happy that I did bring to his attention, and he embraced it, which I much appreciate. And that would bring mental health services to our residents on appropriate police calls, and would provide follow-up to individuals to ensure that they are getting the mental health care that they need.
Update on that, timing of getting that on board or anything?
I've spoken with Jerry Chaikin, who is she's sort of the master coordinator of this over in Shaker. And we've reached out to several of our neighbor communities, and we're setting up I guess we'll call it a collective meeting for a presentation to all the communities so that we can collectively hear how this is going to go together, and we can sit down together and break out the process and begin to do it. I've also talked with Chris Alvarado, who is the director of community collaboration for Chris Ronay at the county, to look into how might this be a county-wide program, not just little enclaves around the county. I've also contacted Nick DeSico, who's head of the Chagrin Valley Dispatch, how we integrate what we're doing in our communities and bring in other communities that may not be part of CVD to be part of it. Working on the technical aspect of how we deal with that, too.
And I think when that meeting gets scheduled, we'll let all of council know, so if anybody's interested in attending, I think everybody would be welcome to attend that. On the Orange Cares Committee, the next meeting is March 11th at 7 p.m. here at Orange Village Hall. There is a kindness game. Boxes are floating around the village. If you receive one, we hope that you'll play along and use it as an opportunity to get to know your neighbors. Even without the game, please take the opportunity to do something kind for someone, and hopefully they will pay it forward. In May, we will be sponsoring a bike repair and infant car seat workshop where residents can have their bikes repaired and their infant car seats installed. And we think that that'll be a great opportunity to bring the community together and provide some needed services. We've got some other things in the fire, but I'll leave them for now. So that's it. Thank you.
I want to thank the mayor for his very extensive report, but I mentioned a couple things that he did miss. First of all, thank you to everybody involved in Orange for their participation in the Orange School Centennial this year. We were well represented in Orange, and they did an amazing job across the board. I also want to make special note about Anna's work and involvement in too many things to mention them all here, but the community yard sale and the Orange for the Holidays book, we really appreciate all of her work in that too. Two big accomplishments this year as well. So thank you, and keep up the great work, everybody. Thank you for all you do. You heard from Jason and Cindy earlier today, so I just want to add a couple things to that. In addition to the awesome ideas and plans that he already mentioned, we also had a guest join us this past week, Destiny Green, who is the coordinator of the Orange Art Center, who shared some of the exciting things they have in store for later this year, which we'll share down the line. But of note for our residents immediately, she asked me to share that the Art Center hosts an emerging artist residency program, which includes a stipend and supply budget, full access to studios and equipment, and a dedicated mentorship support system. The month-long residency culminates in a professional solo exhibition. So if any of our talented young artists over the age of 18 who are early on in their careers are interested, applications are due by noon this Friday. Additionally, we will be meeting next week about the exciting plans for the Artisan Market, as Mayor Klein stated, so we'll have more details about that at the March meeting. But do mark May 10th on your calendar for the Mother's Day Market, which will be held on the Orange Schools campus. A reminder that in honor of Black History Month, the Orange High School Male Minority Leadership is hosting a film festival every Saturday this month from 2 to 4. And as a reminder, International Night is coming up next Thursday, February 20th at Moreland Hills Elementary. They already have 45 countries that will be represented, and I'm sure there's more to come, so please join us. All in the community are welcome to attend all of those events. There was a big game this past weekend, and I'm not talking about the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Barron Cup champions, the OHS Lions hockey team, on their big win against Nordonia. A very exciting game, and we're thrilled for that. The school board met on Monday evening. The superintendent announced that at the request of parents in our community, a travel sports coordinator position will be created to support the OCER staff and programming. Also, the PPLC building renovations are anticipated to be completed by mid-March. You all may have heard that there were two issues on campus recently, one involving a water line break, which shut down PPLC for a couple of days, and another issue at the high school when a truck driven by a scuba instructor, according to Operations Director Ted Roseberry, was inadvertently backed into a glass window adjoining the pool. Shards of glass got into the pool, which then needed to be drained, cleaned, refilled, and reheated. The school is hopeful that it will be completed by Monday or sooner for any in our community who use the pool. The treasurer reported that the indoor pool. The treasurer reported that the property tax revenue was historically low for this time of year. I know Dana has talked about that before. $706,000 in January as opposed to $2 million collected a year ago, but anticipates that number will increase as the deadline approaches next week. Stay tuned for word on a spring mayor's and council meeting scheduled for the end of April. All council members are invited to the mayor's meeting with the school board, and the next board meeting is on Monday, February 24th at 6. This may be something for the Orange Cares Committee, but I want to share it since it's an Orange Schools initiative. The job skills class at Orange High School wants to help families staying at the Akron Ronald McDonald House as they support their children getting hospital care. The students in the job skills classes are creating snack packs for the families to have while they are sitting with their child or sibling at the hospital, and will travel to Akron to help with lunch preparation and delivery between February and May. They're looking for donations of prepackaged, non-perishable snacks like small bags of goldfish, cookies and crackers, fruit snacks, small bottles of water, granola bars, and are in need of gallon-sized Ziploc bags as well. They're going to package these all along with a note of support for the families. So if anyone is able to help, anyone in the community, anyone on council, they would appreciate these items being donated at the high school front office between February 24th and March 10th. Perhaps we can contact Orange Cares for maybe a pickup too, and I'd be happy to arrange a pickup as well. If you wish to donate but you can't get to the high school, please see me. The students in the job skills class are very grateful for any and all support in this endeavor. Finally, and you won't hear this again until December, this is your last opportunity to use the Orange for the Holidays coupons. A great opportunity to get something special for your Valentine. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Lisa.
The Parks and Rec Committee has been working diligently at exploring locations for a proposed renovated dog park. We're learning a lot, and I'll give a more detailed report next time, next week. And that's it. Nothing else is going on.
All right, Phil.
I want to give an update on the Sustainability and Resilience Committee, but first I just had a thought about what it means to be what's sustainable. Just 'cause I knew it was part, I thought I knew, but I just decided to look at what that meant for me, and I found this. It's the 7th generation principle. It is from a Native American government that was formed prior to 1500 and allegedly was part of Benjamin Franklin's inspiration for his work on the Constitution. But the 7th generation principle is the idea that decisions about natural resources, energy, and water should be sustainable for 7 generations into the future. So I think that I would like that to be a guiding principle for us to, when we make decisions, that we're thinking 7 generations into the future. Quick update on the committee. We met yesterday. We talked to Carla Regener from the Soil and Water Conservation and had a lot of very good ideas about how we should better maintain our water resources. And as actually part of that meeting, I think my wife and I are inspired we're going to pursue a natural landscape in our yard instead of our current plain old grass lawn. So I want to come out to the Sustainability Committee, and maybe you'll end up with some strange project yourself.
All right, thank you, Phil. Jeff Foster.
He's good.
For next month. With that, we will adjourn the meeting of February 12th, 2025. Thank you.
Session.